Buongiorno, buonasera, benvenuti amici, welcome my friends. My name is Vincenzo and welcome to my channel, Fountain Pen Therapy. And when we talk about fountain pen therapy, once in a while, we stumble on a pen or we purchase a pen that completely blows us away. Now, one of those pens was the Pelikan M1000. I've got to tell you, the moment I felt that pen in my hands, I was completely taken away to another world. Fountain pen therapy at its best. The same thing I can say, and I know that a lot of people out there disagree, but my Visconti Homo sapien Bronze Age, the same thing, and perhaps for different reasons. The Pelikan was the feel and the writing experience with that juicy broad nib, which writes by itself. Completely intimidating. The Visconti, it's the material of that pen. And I guess the special connection I had with that pen, having purchased it in my home country and in one of the cities that I lived with when I was a small boy. And so there's that attachment with that pen. And I gotta tell you, that nib is just working out really fine for me. But the pen I have for you today is another pen that has completely surprised me. I mean, it's been on my Grail pen hunt for a while. I've never actually pulled the trigger on it, and I did when I was in Italy. And I purchased the pen at STILO E Stile in Rome, and I don't regret it, folks. The moment it touched ink and then paper, I was completely blown away. And I've been looking forward to, reviewing this pen. It's the Scribo La Dotta in the Al Zigant resin that I have to offer to you today. Why is this pen, in my view, a Grail pen? Why is it so special to me? Well, we will feel the writing, and more importantly, we will feel the flex. Stay tuned, folks. Okay, before we look at the pen, I think it's important that we take a look at Scribo, this company. And one of the good things about getting all these Grail pens, these Italian pens, is that it kind of forced me into do the reviews. Of course, it forced me to look at their website and get into to see, who are the people behind this brand, and where do they come from, when did they start, etc. And I think I've found some very important facts that I would like to share with you. So, what is Scribo? Well, Scribo is scrittura bolognese, so Bologna writing, translation. Scrittura is the scri, and Bolognese is the bo, if you will, in Scribo. So, obviously located in Bologna, Italy. By the way, Bologna, in my view, is one of the beautiful medieval city and one of the most beautiful cities in Italy, if you will. If you've got to visit, and you've got to visit the northern, side of things of that country, I think Bologna should be on your list. It's an absolute must. And what about Scribo itself? Well, Scribo was formed in 2016 by several employees formerly of OMAS who decided to take their craft and their expertise and start a new challenge. Now, when you look at their website, and I think this is perfectly evoked in their pens, what are their values? Well, we're talking about tradition, yes, design, craftsmanship, the made in Italy branding, the recovery of an ancient art, search of the best exclusive handwriting experience, indeed, feel the writing is their motto. We talk about artisanal heritage, and we talk about, in that regard, artisanal manufacturing, i.e. completely handcrafted process used in their pens with high-end materials. But in my view, the heart and soul of their writing instruments are the nibs. The nibs come in both 18 karat and 14 karat, and when we take a look at my nib, we will get into more detail, and I'll show you the different sizes that they offer in their pens, and we will take a look at that in a few seconds. Now, a little more about La Dotta. What is this La Dotta model, if you will? Well, La Dotta is really Bologna, if you will. It's the home of the oldest university in Europe, dating back to 1088. And that is where this name La Dotta comes from. Now, La Dotta model and this particular model of Al Zigant is in fact one of three sub-models, if you will. The first one you'll see on the screen is La Turrita, which is in homage to the city's multiple towers. I mean, in the Middle Ages, Bologna was known for hundreds of towers. It was like, a medieval Manhattan, if you will, okay? And La Turrita is an homage to the towers. The Valverde model, which you see on the screen, is a homage to the cistern, or an hydraulic cistern, which was built in the 16th century. It was built to supply water to the city. So that is the Valverde model. And then, of course, you have my model, which is the Al Zigant, or the Al Zigant, the giant, which is a homage to the Neptune fountain, which is one of the most famous monuments in Bologna. So there you have it. That is the background to the company, and this is background to this model and this sub-model as well. Next, let's take a closer look at this gem, folks. It's just a beautiful writing instrument. Okay, now the pen itself. I will spare you the unboxing. The 6-7 pens that I bought in Italy were all unboxed on the ship during my cruise, and I taped them because I wasn't bringing the box with me. I would have been, purchasing an additional suitcase, and we didn't do it. But I got to tell you, I'm going to spare you that unboxing. The box that this pen comes in is pretty uneventful. It's just a very simple cardboard blue box with the Scribo name on it, and feel the writing. What's more interesting, what's in it? The pen comes with this pen sleeve, which you open up, part material, part leather. It accommodates 2 pens, and the pen comes in there. And there's a little, just a sleeve here for the, I guess, this little towel that you could use to clean the pen. So that's neat. And here, of course, is that beautiful La Dotta. And the first thing that you notice is the heft. It's a big pen, and the weight. I think it's about 36 grams. So it's a substantial pen. It's not light at all, and you can feel the quality. This resin, which is what do they call it? I want to make sure I get it right here. It's blue-orange diamond cast resin. And the diamond cast you see in this beautifully sparkled resin. It's blue and orange. It's got dark blue, light blue, royal blue. It's got that orange, even a little bit of teal. And of course, those diamond dust there that kind of makes the whole pen sparkle. I think it's just an absolutely gorgeous. Now, I had a choice at Stilo E Stile. They had most of the La Dottas, and I chose this one just because of that beautiful, beautiful resin. And we'll take a look at the nib that I chose in just a few seconds. First of all, the finial, the top of the finial, you'll see that kind of a, the feather or the quill, which is the Scribo logo. The clip is functional, a little stiff, but of course it accommodates anything because you could just slip it underneath. That center band has "Feel the Writing" written on it, made in Italy there. And then on the other side, the Scribo name. I think the camera's having a hard time seeing that. But it's a nice, it's made out of ruthenium. So some of them come in the gold color. I chose this one. There you have it. That's the outside of the pen. I just can't say enough about that resin. Just a beautiful, and the weight of this pen. Very nice in the hands. You're paying, almost 600 euros for this pen, which is the equivalent of about $900 Canadian and something around $600 US. Very, very nice. But I got to tell you, you're getting quality, you're getting substance, and as you will see, you're going to feel the writing, all right. And even more importantly, you're going to feel the flex. So let's see how many turns. Yeah, almost less than one. In one to reveal this beautiful 14 karat. I chose the 14 karat Feel the Flex nib, number 6 size. It is a piston filler. I think 1.5 milliliters of ink, so quite a bit of ink can fit in there. Let me tell you, and I had filled this pen up during my vacation with Aurora turquoise ink, and it's still plenty in there, as you will see from my writing sample. You'll have plenty there. Now, I did want to show you on the website, they have the various nib offerings, and I think it's important that you take a look at that. You can see that, first of all, you can have it in either 18 karat or 14 karat. The 18 karat runs from extra fine all the way to double broad, triple broad, and stub. Once you get past medium, you pay a little bit extra for double broad, triple broad, or stub. Or you can have the flex choice, Feel the Flex as they call it, and that comes in either extra fine, medium, or broad. I chose the fine. So the pen that I propose is fine, and it's a juicy fine, folks. And man, that flex has impressed me, making it such that this is probably one of the best writing experiences that I've had with any fountain pen. And we'll take a look at that in just a few seconds. Now, I was so excited about the pen that I think I forgot to mention a couple of things. First thing I want you to notice is that there is no ink window in the with this pen. Unfortunate, but on the other hand, you get the full beauty of that resin. Second thing is that this is an ebonite feed with 2 capillaries. I'm not sure what that means. Why 2 and what that means? I don't know if it's got 2 slits. I've not opened up that or take removed that nib. Does it have two entrances to feed the ink? I'm not sure what that means. I've got to tell you, folks. The other thing is that what I've noticed is that this doesn't unscrew here. The barrel doesn't unscrew to go clean up the piston. This nib does. You can remove it. You can unscrew it open so you would get to the pen that way. This is friction fit. So if you do remove that nib, you void the warranty. Okay. The next thing is that the pen is extremely comfortable. As you can see, it is very big and chunky in my hand. I mentioned that because this pen does not post. I mean, you can kind of force it in there and it goes right on the piston knob, which is not advisable, and it makes the pen ridiculously unbalanced. And, you know, it's just not a comfortable experience. I mean, if you really have to, I guess you can. And look how ugly that pen looks. Just the overall design of the pen makes it such that this pen is not made to be posted, okay? So it does not post. So there you have it. I did want to add in 2 or 3 important facts for you to consider and for you to appreciate. We'll be right back. But of course, before we look at the writing sample, I did want to compare it to some of my other pens, most of which you see here are Grail pens in my view. You could see that in terms of length, that Scribo beats the A23, the Mont Blanc, the Pelikan M1000. It is just as big, just slightly smaller than my Leonardo Momento Zero Grande, just because the Momento Zero has kind of a pointed finial, if you will, okay? Bigger than my one-of-one beautiful Delta Napoli C that Nino Marino made specially for me, my Delta Lex A23. I've added in the Asvine V2000 because of that nib that I put in there, which is a Fountain Pen Revolution flex nib, because as we will see, I wanted to compare it to some flex nibs. And of course, you have my beautiful Visconti Homo sapiens. So you can see the Scribo is not at all a small pen. It's Al Zigant, which is Bolognese for the giant, and so it is. That's the pens capped. Here are the pens uncapped, and we won't do a posted example or sampling just because my pen, the subject pen, doesn't post. But you can see that it doesn't shy away at all. I would say that it even rivals my beautiful M1000, which with that huge nib, just slightly longer. And look at my Asvine, which I think is going to be, or is headed to be anyway, my Chinese pen of the year, but we shall see. We're still in the month of September. But you can see it's bigger than my Le Grand Mont Blanc 146. It's bigger, just slightly hedging my 149. It's bigger than this Aurora 88, bigger than the Lex, Delta Lex, Black Lex, and even bigger than the A23. In fact, the A23 is slightly opened here, so it would be even smaller and bigger than my Visconti. But all of these are very nice sized pens, and of course my Scribo, I think, is up there. So there you have it, and take a look at the gorgeous sampling of gold nibs, some flex nibs as well, and in my writing sample, we'll take a look at some of those flex nibs and try to see how does this pen compete with the other flex nibs in my collection, and what kind of writing experience does it give me. I say to you, it gives me a great writing experience, and I will try to explain why. Before we do that, we'll take a look at some measurements, and we'll be right back. Okay, so we're back for my writing sample. First thing I wanted to mention is that this pen was inked before with Aurora turquoise, but I decided to replace it with this Scribo. It's not focusing properly. Verde Mediterraneo. I figured, you know, Scribo with Scribo, correct? So let's see what this gives. And I just hope that I can properly get you to feel the experience that I'm feeling with this nib. It's just so soft and the nib, I don't know if you could see that, is very soft and flexible. So it can give me a very fine line, most consistent. I mean, this thing does not skip a beat, okay? So it can give me a very, very fine line and not a problem in terms of following or, you know, or it can give me a thicker line. So with no pressure, it's just smooth. It's the perfect combination of flex, wetness, and this slight, almost, I would say, wet feedback. As opposed to pencil, certainly not scratchy feedback. So that's me. I got to tell you that I am so pleased with this pen. I mean, you know, you can compare it to, let's compare it to a what I would say a full flex, because that's, you know, the Scribo is not a full flex. This is my fountain pen revolution on my Asvine V200, okay? Now, this is a flex nib, full flex, or as they call it, sorry about that, ultra flex. But the ink that this pen puts down makes it a little more difficult to use on a day-to-day basis. Let me just go back a little bit here. Whereas this pen you could use on an everyday basis. It's fine, yet can give you a thinner or a thicker line, so you could, you know, write very small or write much bigger. And it will give you a very nice line all the time. So you could use it every day, or you could use it to have some fun. Now, you know, the nib does have a lot of soft flexness. So it is a flexy nib without it being necessarily, I guess it compares to, does it compare to my Omas? This is the, not the Omas, I'm sorry, the Aurora 88. this is stiffer. This Flex Aurora or semi-flex, I would say to you, is much stiffer than the Scribo. What other flexi nib do I have not too far away? This is a Yowo, just a slitted flex nib. You know, it doesn't have the softness of the Scribo. It just doesn't. Is it a nice rider? I managed to fix that Yowo nib to work real good, real well, but does it have the same? I say to you, no. Let me just show you. This is the same Yowo nib, but this is the extra flex. Yeah, it doesn't have the same smoothness, the same feel. Let me just compare it to something else. Does it have this Waterman 52? Oh, there's no more ink. Yeah, not really. This is another one of the fountain pen revolution nibs. That's in the dual covered, because in the dual covered I find them a little bit less flexy than the ones that come in chrome. But compared to this, and I will end it here, no, there's just no comparison. Wow. 10 on 10, folks. There you have it. What can I tell you? I'm really excited about this pen. I hope that I've transmitted that excitement. You know, we can think about buying all kinds of pens, and I'm looking in the pipeline, looking at Conway Stewart Churchill. Beautiful, juicy pen, especially the black model with the gold trimmings, but it's got a Yowo nib. I'm looking at the Pilot 845, maybe in the fine, maybe in the medium. It's got to be a nice nib, but is it going to be as soft as this? I don't think so. I really don't. I'm looking maybe to get a Pelican M1000 fine nib instead of that juicy, you know, broad nib that's on this thing, which is uncontrollable, you know. Maybe thinking about that Pelican M800. That could be something interesting when I get them. If I get them, will it rival this? I'm hoping it will. It just will make, I think, my Grail Pen Odyssey all that more interesting. And at the end of the year, I promise you that I will compare them all and declare my yearly winner, if I can. In the meantime, folks, I'm enjoying this pen, and I really, really recommend it. It's pricey. Not everybody can afford it, but if you're saving up for something, I'd really consider this Scribo. I can't say, you know, enough nice things about it. Really, I really can't. So there you have it. Thank you very, very much for your patience. Thank you very much for joining me. Grazie molto, ragazzi e ragazze. Arrivederci. Stay well. Please subscribe. If you like this video, thumbs up. It helps the algorithm. And stay tuned. My weekly recap is back. My vacation is behind me. The pens aren't, but the vacation is. And, you know, back to the grind, but back to fountain pen therapy at home. And I hope I will be sharing it with you, and I hope you will enjoy it. Thank you very much. Arrivederci.